Bro culture is basically a form of toxic masculinity. And we're seeing this everywhere in America right now. We're seeing this when it comes to junior high, and we're seeing this with junior high boys bullying girls into giving them nude photos that they can exchange to upperclassmen for liquor. We're seeing it with our president, who had 13 allegations of sexual assault and sexual misconduct, and his defense was the women were too ugly for him to assault, and he got elected anyway. And we're seeing it in Silicon Valley. This is all tied together. It is the slow disenfranchisement of the white man in America, and they're wigging out, and it's breeding this toxic hyper-masculinity. There's this great quote from Joan Williams, who's one of the best gender and discrimination researchers in the country. She published something on Harvard Business this week and said, "The hard-driving bro culture confuses the pursuit of money with the pursuit of masculinity." Now you think about the disruption culture that's been bred in the last 15 years or so of Silicon Valley, where people brag about law breaking. They maximize for the biggest valuation. I've been a reporter for 20 years. Until recently, entrepreneurs didn't tell you what their valuation was. They considered that competitive insight and intelligence. They didn't want you to know. This has become a bragging point. They have jeopardized the future of these companies, what their employees' shares are going to be worth, in order to get the headline saying they're a unicorn or saying they're a decacorn. Data also shows that companies with female founders perform better. Female VCs perform better. Now that's particularly shocking because a lot of female VCs are ghettoized into sectors like healthcare or e-commerce or corporate venture capital groups, which have the worst proceeds overall. Those are not where the super unicorns come. So the fact that women VCs outperform is remarkable. Over this time that women VCs have been outperforming, the percentage of firms that have a female senior investing partner has been cut in half. There are fewer women getting the job to invest, even though they are statistically delivering the best returns. The number of venture-backed companies, the percentage of venture-backed companies that have a female CEO is 3%. And the percentage of money that goes to those women is less than 3%. It does not match up with the data. So what we're seeing is not just greed. What we're seeing is not just people saying, oh, I gotta focus on my job. I don't have time or luxury to do the right thing. Like, greed is not influencing the decisions. Toxic masculinity is superseding data. So here's the good news. Unfortunately for all those bros, Trump energized feminism in America. Women of my generation who spent their 20s and 30s with kind of Handmaid's Tale style blinders on, wanting to pretend sexism didn't exist and wasn't a thing, we've now gotten just so horrified by the amount of rights that this administration wants to take away from us and the language against women. It has caused this huge conversation on a national level about what women have endured that women never wanted to face or talk about before. So you've got all of us in our 30s and 40s and 50s in this industry who suddenly want to be thought of as women in this industry and want to work for and help other women in this industry. And this has now become our issue. On top of that, you have the millennial generation, and all of that millennial entitlement we've all read so many case studies about is great for women coming up who are millennials because they are simply not accepting the I gotta pay my dues bullshit that women of my generation accepted. On top of that, you have the teen Vogue generation that basically has a 20-year head start on my generation in accepting that feminism, there's a need for feminists, and they want to identify as feminists. We have never had this cohesive and unsplintered a movement for women's rights, certainly since I've been alive in America. And this is exactly what has caused this crash. This is what is bringing these men down. Women are coming forward. They are risking their careers, and they're doing it because they don't want other women to go through what they went through. And other women are helping them. They're bolstering their stories. They're also coming forward and using their names. And other women are calling them heroes. And other women are saying, you inspire me. And other women are then wanting to fund them and work with them. This is what is bringing this down. This is the single change that's happened that has caused this bro reckoning that I think we're only at the beginning of.